Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's video. We're going to have a look at whether the next 10 to 14 days for today's video date will take us to the 15th of March. And we'll be able to extend that beyond that with the GFS and ECM ensembles. They run around a couple of weeks. We'll have a look at CFSV2 at the end of the video. For the next 4 weeks, we'll get to the start of April. Goodness gracious me, I don't know you. And I shall get on back for you in a moment. Just say that first video today was a 6 AM upload and also released the first update for summer 2023. Wow. It's a very interesting video to start us off. Actually, we're looking at something we've never looked at before, which is summers following sudden stratospheric warmings in the month of February. So completely different, set of analogues and premise for the video and whatnot. Something totally new and unique. Very interesting. A lot of interest in that as well, I think. So do check out the first summer update if you'd like to do that. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Please like, share, subscribe on videos. We need to put on around 75 subscribers to get ourselves to 15.7k. So if you could give us a sub, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Tell friends and family to subscribe as well. Thank you so much for doing that. Hope you're having a lovely Sunday. Thank you so much for tuning in on your Sunday afternoon. Right, going to start off with the Arctic oscillation observed and forecast. So the black line shows where we've been with the AO, the Arctic oscillation. The red line's at the end where the GFS ensembles are forecasting the Arctic oscillation to go. Remember, the AO and the NAO, its cousin, is just a index that's reflecting the atmospheric state. Doesn't drive anything in its own terms, just tells us what the atmosphere is doing. So when the AO is positive, you're going to have low pressure over the Arctic and over North Pole. When the AO is negative, you're going to have high pressure over North Pole. You're going to have blocking over the North Pole. Blocking is the route to get cold air out of the pole down into the mid-latitudes. Right, so the AO was negative for the early part of the winter. Remember, we had the cold weather first half of December. That was associated with northern blocking, sat around Greenland and a negative AO. The AO then went towards a more neutral to negative phase in the second half of December into the first half of January. Since the first half of January, the AO generally been in positive territory, especially through February. February was a positive AO month, and that's the reason it was quite a mild February. The current scenario is that the AO is weakly positive now, but it's forecast to go significantly negative through the first half of March. So any time now, the AO is going to go into negative territory. That was probably a response, tropospheric response to the sudden stratospheric warming. Remember, we talked about that. Been talking about that for a long while, actually. First time on about that around Christmas, didn't we? But we finally got there in the end with the SSW in February, and so this negative AO. I mean, can't 100% say what about negative AO anyway without the SSW. Sometimes you can get blocking and whatnot, even without a sudden traffic one. So we can't 100% say that is down to the SSW, but it's around the time frame you'd expect to get a tropospheric response from when the SSW happened, and so that could well be it. Now, we find that as we go into the middle of March, the AO tries to get itself back into more neutral territory. There is a lot of scatter within that, so the atmosphere will always try to recover, remember, because blocking is like an abnormal scenario. You should have like a strong polar vortex, you should have a polar vortex over the North Pole. So the atmosphere will try and get itself back to equilibrium, it'll try and get itself back to its default setup. Well, we see there, but the AO starts to lift back up towards neutral territory, but there is a lot of scatter within that. So by the time we get to the middle of March, we have got a lot of uncertainty there. Will the blocking reduce and we start reverting back to a stronger polar vortex again, or will the blocking continue? Maybe the blocking will reduce well and then come back again. That's a possibility. But certainly, like in the next week anyway, we're going to have a very significantly negative AO. The NAO, observed and forecast, looks like this. So again, black line shows where we've been, with the North Atlantic Oscillation, red line, something with GFS ensembles forecasting the NAO to go. So the NAO is already negative, actually. And this is measuring air pressures in the North Atlantic this time between Iceland and the Azores, where you've got a positive NAO. You've got low pressure around Iceland, high pressure around the Azores. You strengthen the southwesterly flow and whatnot. And it's the reverse, you know, when you have a negative NAO. You get high pressure or higher pressure around Iceland and lower pressure around the Azores. So at the moment, we're already in negative territory with the NAO. The GFS ensembles forecasting the NAO go back to a more neutral type scenario by the middle of March. So by mid-March, we could have both the indexes, the AO and the NAO, into neutral territory. That could be a signal for blocking, you know, and the colder weather. That could be a signal for that to relax a little bit by the middle of the month. But of course, it could come back later on in the month. This only gets us to like the middle or just beyond the middle of March. Quite a cold start to March. Central temperature is currently sitting at 4.9, gone over 5 degrees already. That's 0.8 of a degree below average. That's provisional to yesterday the 4th, and the cold weather still hasn't really set in yet, so that's only going to fall away further over the next few days. These are the 500 millibar high tonic flow charts from Penn State University. We've got the ECM on the top and the GFS on the bottom. 500 millibars, 18,000 feet is an area in absolute high pressure and low pressure are being moved around by the jet stream running above. Blue extrapolates to low pressure, and yellow, orange, red extrapolating to high pressure. So the ECM here is showing that we're going to have plenty of low pressure coming in from off the Atlantic into Northern Europe in the 7 to 10 day time frame. Remember, day 10 will be the 15th of March. So, you know, it looks very unsettled that through the second week of March. Not necessarily overly mild, despite the fact we have got high pressure around the Azores. I think we are just about on the cold side of the jet stream with this, and we're importing air out of Greenland and whatnot into these areas of low pressure. So cool, maybe quite cold and unsettled. You certainly wouldn't rule out the chance of some stir back, particularly so in northern areas. The GFS is a milder scenario, so of course Mrs. G just here. I forgot that, didn't I? I used to do that, didn't I? ECM on the top, so you put an E in there. And then GFS on bottom. We haven't had these charts till just like a couple of weeks ago. I haven't had these in 2020. Anyway, back to business. I'm so sorry, but off on a tangent. Back to business. GFS is a milder solution. Unsettled, big trough of low pressure in Scandinavia, so cold for them. Low pressure still coming in up Atlantic, but more of a ridge towards Iberia, more of that Iberian ridge around Spain, and so that lifts more of a southwesterly type flow into the area of low pressure. It has got strong blocking, but that's more toward the Canadian side of Greenland. That took cold air down into northern and eastern America, by the way. But for us, we start bringing up more of a southwesterly influence there by the time we get toward the 7 to 10 day time frame. Interestingly, the ECM also has that block on the Canadian side of Greenland. So things looking much colder into America, I think, in the 7 to 10 day time frame. You could definitely start pulling down cold air, courtesy of this blocking feature into northern East America. They had a very mild winter over there, of course, this winter, but it's probably not done with them just yet. Right, these are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. We're looking at Watton today. The red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Watton, and you can see we are going to be colder than average for the next week or so, or the next few days anyway. So temperatures are really below average. They get colder over the coming down, just about getting down to minus 10 at 815 HPA, which is really cold for March. You know, that's very, very cold. Over the weekend, looks like the upper air temperatures are trying to stage a recovery. They're lifting back up closer to average, although has to be said, there is a lot of scatter in there. We basically keep that scatter and thus uncertainty going through towards the middle part of March, actually. So we've got the cold GFS ensemble there down here. We've got milder GFS ensemble members up there. The ensemble mean, which is the white line, after staging a little bit of a recovery at the weekend into the beginning of the following week, after that, the white line does drop away again. So I think the trend within the GFS ensembles is probably start turning things colder again, actually, as we go into the middle and second half of March there, although not as cold as it is going to be in the coming few days. Precipitation-wise, going to get more unsettled as well, so still another day or so of dryish weather to go, but the dry spell, prolonged dry spell, is running out of road, things certainly looking more unsettled there as we go through the second week and into the middle of the month. And beyond, let's have a look at Snow Row. That looks all right, doesn't it, for some snow at Water? Not too bad at all, really. Next week, you know, probably spikes there. And even a few carrying on into second half of March, which may be a little bit surprising. So there could be some snow there for Water next week. If you'd like to have your local town or city featured within this part of video, then please ask us in comments or email us at GavsWeatherVids@gmail.com. I've got quite a long list now of suggested locations, so it will take me a little while to get through all of them. But yeah, you know, ask away, and we're always happy to feature your local town or city within this part of the video. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. And by the way, if you're waiting for Snow Watch, we're definitely doing Snow Watch Live tomorrow. Snow Watch Live will definitely be coming up tomorrow at 8 p.m. So not Ensembles Watch this week. It will be Snow Watch Live. And I think that's going to have a lot of interest. Temperature anomalies from the 2nd to 13th of March, coming out below average, not just the UK, but through most parts of Northern Europe. Precipitation anomalies from the 5th to 13th of March. Above average, that's a big change on what I've had for several weeks. So average to above for precipitation, and also colder than average. That suggests there could be some wintry weather mixed in. Latest info out from earthnorthschool.net shows that the northerlies are starting to descend. The high pressure went into retrograde and has now set up over Greenland, and the upshot of that is that it's bringing down these colder northern winds. Dragging the map down, you can see that a long fetch northerly with air originating from direct polar sources is on its way and will be with us very soon. There's going to be a cold front somewhere around there. Behind that is where we will set in that proper northerly wind, and that is going to start descending any moment, really. Right, so this is our latest UK Met Euro run. Is looking for midnight on Wednesday. Very cold, with cold air sitting across northern Europe. Low pressure trying to come in from off the Atlantic. Now, this low has caused all sorts of headaches for Wednesday. The idea now is that it runs through to France, really. Might bring a little bit of snow to extreme southern counties, but you know, it looks like that gives us a glancing blow and runs off into France. We've got more low pressure waiting in the wings. Another low there is coming in Thursday to Friday. Now, that's a bit further north, so it's more of a warm sector of that. So that could bring rain like south and southwest, but could bring some snow. Northern England, Midlands, Northern Ireland, that sort of area with that little low. And then going to the weekend, and then get a milder push from the southwest. This is Saturday, bring up milder winds then. So the weekend turns milder, particularly south, because it's quite cold for Scotland with some snow there. But I think further south, we're talking about quite a mild and wet weekend next weekend. The cold could come back after that, though. And this is how it could happen. Icon looks like this. Again, very cold, wintry on Wednesday. Low pressure tries to get in from Wednesday to Thursday, but really being held at bay towards the south and the southwest. Possibly some sort of feature push across south there Thursday to Friday. That might be a little bit of snow on the south. Milder southwesterly winds waiting in the wings, though. They push through, away from Scotland anyway, let's say, Carl. They push through on Saturday, though milder for England and Wales with heavy rain at times. But as that low pressure then clears through into the North Sea Saturday to Sunday, wind goes back into the north again. So Icon turns it colder again with another northerly push over the weekend, actually. Rather different to what the UK Met is showing. The GFS midnight run, again, looks really cold and wintry on Wednesday across the country. This area of low pressure trying to come up from southwest Thursday. That brings a glancing blow to the south Might bring some snow a little bit further northwards. We'll have to wait and see. Then we've got a push of southwest winds for Friday into Saturday. So that brings milder air into the south. Still cold for Scotland though. The divide there with the GFS midnight run is like southern Scotland, Northern Ireland, where I think there could be significant snow. Northern Scotland probably stays dry and very cold and wet and milder down in the south. Another low zipping in on Sunday, Saturday to Sunday. And then after that, colder air begins trickling back southwards again on Monday temporarily. And the extended range very unsettled with the GFS midnight run as well. Further low pressures coming and going. Not particularly mild either. Looks like pull the high pressure out into the Atlantic. So on the cold side of the jet with these areas of low pressure. Just generally cool and wet really. This is a precipitation forecast based on that GFS midnight run. So cold air digging in, particularly tomorrow, starts turning the shower to snow. That's right, there's the cold front, that defined band just there, coming southwards through Scotland, Northern Ireland, and that carries on pushing southwards through Monday into Tuesday. Delivers a little bit of snow, you'll notice, into more southern areas. There's some wintry showers there overnight, Monday to Tuesday, coming through parts of the Midlands. For example, a little bit from the Towers, maybe. Probably won't amount to very much. I'm into those snow showers for Tuesday. They're quite widespread, especially so in more northern and eastern areas. Some of those could have, be beefy and pack a punch to them. Wednesday, that's that little low, just over the other side of the channel now, taking the snow into France. Another one gives us a glancing blow Wednesday to Thursday. That could bring a little snow just to the south coast there. But generally, most of it is over France. And then we go into Friday, and we get a temporary snow event pushing across the country before milder air begins to turn that snow back to rain. However, it stays the snow for Scotland. You'll notice some very significant snow for southern parts of Scotland with that. Otherwise, lots of heavy rain for England and Wales. That will be a real soaker over the weekend. But plenty of snow to come for Scotland. Scotland stays within the cold air there. It's amazing how that happens. The difference of those few hundred miles further northwards than that. But very wet scenario setting up down in the south. And then if we get into next week, cold air begins to come back. And so by Monday, next week, 13th of March, we've got another snow event here, much further south across parts of England and Wales. Of course, that is all pretty speculative at this point. Right, GFS 6Z. Again, we've got cold air sitting across the north and the west of Europe on Wednesday. Cold and wintry. There's that low across France, but misses the south coast now. Into Friday, here comes the push of milder southwest wind, probably temporary spell of snow with that, and then milder air pushes through. By the weekend, we begin to bring colder air back in from the north again, especially into the northern half of the country. Beyond that, beyond day 10, just rather unsettled and chilly. High pressure having a go building up over Scandinavia there for a while. Certainly keeps northern half of the country within the cold air. Maybe a little bit milder, but still unsettled by the end of GFS 6Z. This is a precipitation forecast based on that GFS 6Z. So again, we've got that a band of rain, snow coming southwards, right, quite widespread snow there across particularly the Midlands, eastern England overnight, Monday and Tuesday. So that is one to watch. Might be a little bit of a dusting there for parts of England and Wales. And then into those snow showers on Tuesday itself. They're quite widespread across the country. Wednesday, the snow goes down into France with that area of low pressure. It doesn't get to the south coast. And then after that, again, another glancing blow to the south on Wednesday night into Thursday. Some snow there through Thursday for parts of England and Wales, interestingly, again, particularly through Wales, the Midlands, parts of eastern England. So that's one to watch. Thursday could be the one to watch for those who like in Wales and the Midlands and that. And then on Friday, in comes milder air southwest winds. That rain does turn to snow in northern and northeastern areas. Heavy rain both further south. Of course, the low could get trending further southwards, though, with time. We know in this pattern, low pressure does tend to go further south than the models think it will. So I wouldn't necessarily say, but this southwesterly push is nailed on for the end of next week. But it does look as though Friday, Saturday turns much milder and wetter. And then we get through the weekend. After the weekend, the cold air begins to come back southwards again, and pick up some snow around in the week beginning Monday, the 13th of March. If you enjoyed the video, then please do like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so very much, everybody, for doing that. Why not drop a comment? Let us know what you think about this and all of our videos, and don't forget to tell your friends and family about GavsWeatherVids. We thank you so very much, everybody, for doing that. Right, GM, again, with the cold and wintry weather sitting across the country on Wednesday, Thursday to Friday. We get this push of southwest winds, so mild air begins to trickle back in from the southwest. So not for long. By the time we get through to Sunday, the cold air is returning again from the north. So very uncertain for the weekend, I have to say. How long that milder southwesterly push is going to last, and the cold air could prove quite stubborn and come back several miles of doing that. So by Monday the 13th March, we are actually back into that cold air again with winds in from the north. And the GM then stays cold and wintry right way up to day 10 with north to northeasterly winds there. So just a couple of slightly milder days, Friday and Saturday with the GM, and then we're back into cold weather again after that. And then the ECM at WF is looking like this. So again, we start off very cold and wintry on Wednesday. A bit further north, that area of low pressure Wednesday to Thursday. That might bring some snow down to the far south. And models have that into France. So this is Friday. Again, you see that the milder air is struggling more on Friday, so that could suggest some snow through parts of Wales and the Midlands, with that feature just there. And that really pushes that mild air in, actually, the ECM. So the mild air is like going to France Friday to Saturday. Most of the country still within quite cold air then, I think. But by Sunday, it does get the milder weather through there. So it takes a little bit longer, but by Sunday, we get a push of southwesterly winds. That's how we look as we get to the end of the ECM run. Gets us to Wednesday, 15th of March, and back into colder northerlies once again by then. This is the precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from Tometeo.com. Cold air setting in the next 24 hours. Rain, maybe a little bit of snow on the back edge of parts of Midlands and whatnot. Tomorrow and tomorrow night, snow showers following along behind. There's that glancing blow to the south with a little bit of rain since the south goes, but most of it's going off into France. Another glancing blow there. That's Wednesday, I think, Wednesday to Thursday with some wet weather down across the south. And then some quite significant snow through Wales and the Midlands up to northern England through Thursday there. So a bit of a snow event suggested through central England on Thursday, rain further south, and then the milder air pushes through, and we go much more towards rain away from Scotland anyway, where it stays as snow. Bouts of rain coming and going until the very end when it turns colder again and the precipitation goes back to snow once more. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today. Excuse me, for day 10, which gets us to the 15th of March from the Icelandic Met Office. 23 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure to our north and east, high pressure more towards the Canadian side of Greenland. And so cold air begins to come back with that within that area of low pressure. 19 just here again with high pressure in the North Atlantic up towards the Canadian side. Greenland low pressure is over to the east coast. I think that could be quite cold, really quite cold, unsettled. And then 9 here, more like what the GFS is showing, with a stronger ridge to our southwest and low pressure more towards our west and northwest. And so particularly for the south, that's the milder option. But I think the majority actually looks quite cold at day 10 there. That option and that option, they could both be quite cold and wintry. The minority option is this milder idea with high pressure ridging up from the southwest. That's the ECM ensembles boat, of course. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. Gets us to the 20th of March, 27 members of the ECM ensembles look milder then with lower pressure coming in from the Atlantic, more of a southwesterly type influence. However, 15 have a Scandinavian high and have winds in from the east. Would depend how far east the wind is coming from as to whether it's particularly cold. And then 9 have high pressure around Iceland. That could be quite a cold scenario as well. That will also have a wind in from the east. Drier and colder with those two scenarios. And of course, if you put the 15 together there with the 9 just there, that gets you to 24. So 24 for colder scenario against 27 for the milder, wetter scenario. So not quite a 50-50 split, but not like it. It's certainly there's a chance that it could turn dry and cold by the 20th of March. Lastly, the CFS-V2, these are 500 millibar high times break down into week periods. The first week period will take us from a bit to the 11th of March. The coming week has low pressure to our north and east, high pressure blocking around Greenland, Iceland, winds coming in from a cold northerly direction, cold and wintry in the coming week, as we know. Week 2 is the 12th to the 18th of March, low pressure around in off the Atlantic, high pressure around Spain, winds coming from west or southwesterly direction or westerly direction, so unsettled and milder there. Week 3 will be the 19th to the 25th of March. Some sort of high pressure to our southwest and also towards Scandinavia. Very strange on the chart, that low pressure to like the northwest and the south. Very odd. Not sure what's going on with that, but probably winds coming in from off the Atlantic there. And then week 4. Now this looks nice. You're waiting for a bit of spring. This was 26th of March to the 1st of April. High pressure end ridging in from the southwest, and that would be a lot milder. And that would be spring. Spring would arrive there in the closing days of March. So those of you waiting for a bit of spring sunshine, that's it with that area of high pressure. But it is 4 weeks away. We've got a lot of weather to get through before we get to that. Okay, we're done. If you enjoyed the video, please do you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Drop a comment. Let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. And don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids. Thank you so very much, everybody, for doing that. It's been quite a long one today. I hope you enjoyed it. Right, so I think that's it for today's content. Tomorrow, we're going to have the 6 a.m. upload. We'll have a 10-14 day, and we're going to do Snow Watch live tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. So you've seen from that there are snow possibilities. In the coming days, we will be exploring the high-res models and, going through the data with Snow Watch Live tomorrow at 8 p.m. You enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and for this video, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.